Police need the public's assistance in locating the suspects who are responsible for murdering 3 men during a narcotics-involved robbery.
A suspect is being sought in a robbery of a Wachovia bank.
And police are searching for the man who tried to abduct a 6-year-old girl at a Payless shoe store.
All this and more coming up on this edition of F.C.P.D. Newsline.
Welcome to F.C.P.D. Newsline. Each week we highlight crime reports and stories of interest from the law enforcement community. Today we will begin with cases that have been the focus of the Fairfax County Crime Solvers. I'm Officer Bud Walker.
And I'm Master Police Officer Tim Thomas. Fairfax County Crime Solvers is asking for the public's assistance in locating 2 men wanted for robbing another man in the early morning on October 18, 2008. The victim, a 23-year-old Falls Church man, accompanied by 2 women to the 6400 block of Waterway Drive. Once there, 3 men approached from the woods and assaulted the victim, taking his money and personal items. The 2 women then fled with the 3 male suspects. An investigation identified all 5 suspects and 3 were charged. The final 2 suspects have outstanding warrants for their arrest, and police need the public's help to locate them. Kingney O. Granados, 20, of no fixed address, and Eric Rodriguez, 20, of Cottonwood Drive in the Alexandria area, are both wanted on outstanding warrants for robbery. Both suspects know they are wanted and are evading capture. Granados is 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 180 pounds. Rodriguez is 6 feet tall and weighs 270 to 300 pounds. They may be driving a gold Cadillac with Virginia registration XTZ 7195.
Fairfax County Crime Solvers is asking for assistance in identifying the persons responsible for shooting out vehicle windows with a paintball-type gun. In the evening of January 4th, police were called to the 10,000 block of Adair Drive in the Burke area. Officers found 11 damaged vehicles, and damage is estimated to be at least $1,600.
Fairfax County Crime Solvers is asking for the public's assistance in identifying the man responsible for stealing cash from the office of a local business. Just before noon on January 10th, the man entered the Office Depot store located at 5845 Leesburg Pike in the Bailey's Shopping Center. He walked discreetly to the rear of the store and forced entry into the staff office. Inside, he took a large amount of cash from the safe, then walked out the front door. No one was injured. The suspect was caught on surveillance cameras, and police are hopeful someone will recognize him. The suspect was described as white, 6 feet tall, and 260 pounds. He had short, brown hair that was balding and facial scruff. He was wearing dark blue pants, a gray shirt, and a black jacket.
Police are releasing new details regarding the deaths of 3 men in the hopes someone will step forward with new suspect information. Investigators believe Terrence Strope, 38, Ryan Strope, 26, and Andres Ulisi, 26, were killed during a narcotics-involved robbery. One victim described the suspects as males, wearing black clothing with the words police and SWAT displayed. Witnesses observed an older model Chevrolet Blazer or Jeep near the home on the night of the homicide and the day prior. The vehicle was light-colored, possibly gold, and had Maryland license plates. A second vehicle was also seen near the home about 1 hour prior to the murders. It was described as a white compact car, also with Maryland license plates. Detectives do not believe the suspects were direct acquaintances of the victims. However, the suspects may have learned of the narcotic sales in the victim's home indirectly through friends of the victims. Detectives continue to follow up on leads in this case.
F.C.P.D. Newsline will be back right after these messages.
The gang was at Mrs. Smith's house, forcing her to pour cooking grease down her kitchen sink. But she knew better. She knew that pouring fats, oil, and grease down her drain could create clogs in her pipes and backups in the county sewer lines, causing thousands of dollars in damage. We got there just in time. Later, Mrs. Smith discarded her cooled grease by wiping the pan clean with paper towels, stuffing it all in a covered container, and throwing it away with her regular garbage. Case closed. Brought to you by Fairfax County Wastewater Management.
Did you know that rain from our yards flows untreated from our storm drains directly to our local streams and then to the Potomac River, the source of our drinking water? Do your part to keep your yard and driveway clean. Pick up pet waste. Don't over-fertilize and read the label carefully. And recycle motor oil at appropriate recycling locations. Let's make sure only rain down the drain. Brought to you by the Northern Virginia Clean Water Partners.
Fairfax County Crime Solvers is asking for the public's assistance in identifying the persons responsible for a series of auto thefts throughout Fairfax County. Since August 2008, at least 30 Acura vehicles, both the RSX and Integra models, have been stolen. The model years range from 1994 to 2004. Several of the vehicles were recovered around the region. Investigators believe these cars are being stolen by several organized groups operating throughout Fairfax County and the metropolitan region. Most of the vehicles are stolen and stripped of their engines and/or parts. Those parts are then used in other vehicles. Damage and loss to these stolen cars exceeds $360,000. Residents are reminded to do their part to minimize the chances of becoming a victim, and remember that vehicles with computer-coded key chips are just as susceptible to the theft. Do not leave your vehicle unattended while it is running, even if the doors are locked. Do not leave your keys or unnecessary valuables inside your car, and use an alarm and/or anti-theft device on your vehicle. Detectives are seeking information on these theft rings and their participants.
Crime Solvers is still seeking the public's assistance identifying the person responsible for a homicide that occurred 20 years ago. In the morning of March 29, 1989, 18-year-old Amy Baker was driving southbound on Interstate 95 near Backlick Road when her car experienced difficulties. Amy abandoned her blue 1970 Volkswagen Bug and walked up the exit ramp onto Backlick Road toward the Exxon gas station. Detectives believe that her attacker confronted her on Backlick Road and forced her into the woods near the top of the exit ramp, where she was sexually assaulted and strangled. Her body, which was found 2 days later, was partially buried in some leaves. Detectives continue to investigate her death and would like to speak with anyone who may have been in the area at the time of the attack or who may have knowledge of the incident. In addition to the $1,000 cash reward offered by Crime Solvers, a $25,000 private reward is also being offered for information which leads to an arrest and indictment in this case.
Fairfax County Crime Solvers is asking for the public's assistance in identifying the man responsible for larcenies at a health club in Reston. In the afternoon on February 21st, a man forced open lockers at the Sport and Health Club located at 11445 Isaac Newton Square. He took numerous items to include an iPod, BlackBerry, heart monitor, cellular phone, credit cards, and cash. The suspect used several of the credit cards later at an ATM and stole more than $2,400. Surveillance cameras captured the suspect, and police are hopeful someone will recognize him. He is described as black, 6 feet to 6 feet 2 inches tall and between 230 and 250 pounds. He has brown eyes, a shaved head, and a mustache.
Fairfax County Crime Solvers is still asking for the public's assistance in identifying and locating the person responsible for killing a 49-year-old man. Police responded to a shooting in the 2900 block of Furman Lane just before midnight on May 10, 2008. Officers found the deceased victim, Michael Anthony Ross of Suitland, Maryland, lying outside next to an apartment patio. An investigation determined Ross was shot in the upper body as he stood outside at the sliding glass door of an apartment. The suspect was described as black, between 18 and 25 years old. He was 5 feet 8 inches to 5 feet 10 inches tall and 150 to 170 pounds. He was wearing all black clothing.
Fairfax County Crime Solvers is asking for the public's assistance in identifying the man believed to be responsible for 2 separate larcenies at a home in the 8000 block of Ox Road. Police were first called to the home on April 15th. Officers determined a Suzuki DRZ 125 dirt bike was stolen from a locked shed on the property sometime between April 14th and April 15th. 4 days later, on April 19th, police were again called to the residence just after midnight. An investigation determined the 45-year-old victim saw a man removing tools from his locked shed. The victim and his 18-year-old son ran outside and chased the suspect a short distance before they caught him. The 45-year-old victim was injured during a struggle with the suspect. The suspect was able to escape and fled on foot. The injured victim was transported to the Inova Fairfax Hospital and treated for his non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect was described as white, 45 to 50 years old. He was about 5 feet 7 inches tall and 180 pounds. He was wearing blue jeans and a dark-colored sweater.
We'll be back with more F.C.P.D. Newsline after this.
From the beginning of time, people have struggled to find better ways to communicate important information with their community. Some ways worked better than others.
Well, times have changed, and now Fairfax County offers the ultimate one-stop shop to get what's important to you and your community in Fairfax.
Get news.
Get information.
Get Fairfax County.
Get Fairfax County. It's free. Keeping current has never been easier.
Effective communication with Fairfax County residents is imperative before, during, and after an emergency. Residents with social needs may be hard to reach because they are more vulnerable or at risk. They may have sensory or physical disabilities. They may have limited English capabilities or cultural or religious beliefs that isolate them from emergency resources. They could be older or economically disadvantaged. Using the Social Needs Registry, Fairfax County seeks to partner with community organizations that have an ongoing and trusted relationship with our residents with social needs before an actual emergency occurs. If your group assists those with social needs, join the Fairfax County Social Needs Registry. For more information, go to fairfaxcounty.gov. Under e-Services, click on Special Needs Registry and go to Organizations Register with Social Needs Registry, or you can call 703-324-9000.
Fairfax County Crime Solvers is asking for the public's assistance in identifying the persons responsible for a series of car vandalisms in the Centerville and Fairfax areas. During the overnight hours of June 24th and June 28th, the suspects shot the windows out of at least 32 parked vehicles with a pellet gun. The affected streets were Cedar Lakes Drive, Faircrest Court, Autumn Woods Way, Hampton Forest Way, Hampton Forest Court, Autumn Willow Court, Autumn Willow Drive, and Union Village Circle. Damage to the vehicles is estimated to be more than $10,000.
A tip received through Crime Solvers led to the arrest of 2 men for several unsolved crimes In late May, a tipster identified the suspects in several outstanding cases to include robberies and a burglary. Detectives followed up on the tip and determined the information was accurate. In late May and June, the suspects were charged in the following cases: a commercial robbery on May 4th at the 7-Eleven store located at 11,714 Sunset Hills Road in the Reston area, the robbery of a person on May 16th at the 2200 block of Colts Neck Road in the Reston area, and a burglary on May 24th at a home in the 14,400 block of Woodmere Court in the Centerville area. Donnell Foster, 18, of no fixed address, was charged with robbery and the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony in the May 4th robbery. He was charged with burglary for the May 24th incident. John Mack Stewart, 18, of Beacon Tree Lane in Reston, was charged with robbery and the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony in the May 4th robbery. He was also charged with robbery in the May 16th incident. Joshua Campbell, 25, of no fixed address, had an outstanding warrant for robbery in the May 16th incident. He was arrested in a nearby jurisdiction for unrelated charges. On June 18th, and is awaiting extradition back to Fairfax County. Detectives continue to investigate several other robberies, and further cases are possible.
Need some cash? Know someone who's wanted? Visit the web. Fairfax County Crime Solvers is now highlighting wanted persons through their website, and all are encouraged to visit. Each week, the website is updated with new faces, along with their identifying information and outstanding charges. In addition to the fugitives, visitors may also view the photos of criminals caught in the act. Those who recognize an individual are encouraged to contact Crime Solvers by phone, text, or email. Cash rewards of $100 to $1,000 are paid for information that leads to an arrest. Tipsters and the information they provide are anonymous and protected under state law. For additional information on the Crime Solvers cases, you can visit the newsroom on the Police Department website at fairfaxcounty.gov/police.
A 6-year-old girl was the victim of an attempted abduction on June 13th. The victim was inside the Payless Shoe Source store located at 3501 South Jefferson Street in the afternoon. She asked an employee for assistance, and a man standing behind her offered to help. He led her outside the store. When they reached the parking lot, the victim asked for her parents and headed back toward the store. She found her parents and walked outside with them to find the suspect, but he was gone. The suspect was described as white, between 20 and 30 years old. He was about 5 feet 8 inches tall and 175 pounds, with straight, medium-length black hair.
A man was arrested on June 18th for acting disorderly at the Lee District Rec Center, located at 6601 Telegraph Road. The man was in the pool area in the afternoon talking with 2 children, a 7-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy. He reportedly knelt down between them to chat and had his arms around their sides while he was talking. A staff member who had warned the man before confronted the man a second time and escorted him out. Once in the parking lot, the man reached into his backpack and removed a pistol, but then dropped it. A retired police officer who was nearby saw this and confronted the suspect. With the help of park staff, they subdued and detained him until police arrived. Officers arrested Vondale Wright, 25, of Hagel Circle in Lorton, and transported him to the Fairfax County Adult Detention Center, where he was charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, removing the serial numbers from a firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, and disorderly conduct.
F.C.P.D. Newsline will continue after this.
Children like these need families like yours. There are children here in Fairfax County whose world is turned upside down, who need a loving home like yours, a safe haven during a difficult time. Discover the rewards of opening your heart and home to children in need. Become a foster parent. All kinds of children need all kinds of people. You may be just the person who can help turn their world around. Call Fairfax County's Department of Family Services. Make a difference in a child's life.
Feeling the squeeze of foreclosure? Take action. Fairfax County can help. Homeowners, there is help available. We have tips to guide you on your road to recovery and many types of resource materials. Renters, know that you do have rights. Concerned residents, contact us to report symptoms of neighborhood deterioration. Don't ignore the problem. Take ownership in the solution. Timely action on your part may improve the likelihood of an amicable settlement.
Police responded to complaints of a noisy party just after midnight on June 20th in the 8400 block of Finwood Drive. Upon arrival, officers saw over 100 teens and young people in the home, yard, and surrounding area and began their investigation. Officers placed charges of underage possession of alcohol against 41 young people. Christopher Generazio, 26, resident of Finwood Drive home, was also charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Police reminded residents that they can report suspected underage drinking parties at 703-691-2131.
The morning of June 23rd, officers were called to the 6000 block of Ticonderoga Court in Burke for a possible shooting. A perimeter was established by responding officers, the helicopter unit, SWAT team, canine units, negotiators team, motor squad, and several other supporting officers responded to assist. A portion of Burke Road was closed during the incident. Approximately 3 hours later, a 41-year-old man was convinced to walk out of the townhouse. He was peaceably taken into custody for evaluation, and there were no injuries.
A 32-year-old woman falsely reported she was assaulted on a wooded path between two parking lots at Burke Lake Park. The victim claimed she parked her car and was walking alone in the afternoon on May 17th. A man reportedly walked toward her and punched her in the face. The victim was rendered unconscious for a short time. The suspect was gone when she awoke. She was not seriously injured. Jennifer Lynn Sprague, 32, of Plum Street, Vienna, was charged with filing a false police report. Detectives determined that the events Sprague reported to police never occurred. Sprague was released on a summons on June 24th.
An employee of the Wachovia Bank, located at 8994 Lorton Station Boulevard, was robbed June 25th. That afternoon, a woman entered the bank and approached a bank teller, a 22-year-old man, at the counter. She passed a note, implied a weapon, and demanded money. The victim complied and gave the suspect an undisclosed amount of cash. The suspect fled out the front door and left in an older model tan or champagne-colored Honda Accord. The suspect was described as black, in her 30s to early 40s. She was 5 feet 2 inches to 5 feet 6 inches tall with a large build. She was wearing a white t-shirt, blue jeans, a white baseball cap, black sunglasses, and had a black purse. Don't go away. F.C.P.D. Newsline will return in a moment.
I'm Sheriff Stan Barry, and I'd like to tell you about becoming a deputy in the Fairfax County Sheriff's Office.
My career is in my hands.
The training is top-notch.
I enjoy being part of the team.
Fairfax is the largest sheriff's office in Virginia and among the largest in the country. We can offer you the best training and most up-to-date equipment available. Make a difference in your community and in your life and become part of the Fairfax County law enforcement team.
The Fairfax County Police Department urges motorists to pay full time and attention when driving and reminds them that Virginia House Bill 1876 went into effect on July 1st. The new law prohibits drivers from sending or reading text messages and is punishable by a fine of $20 for the first offense and $50 for additional infractions. Virginia is the 9th state in the nation to ban text messaging while driving. The commander of the Traffic Division, Captain Susan Cullen, stresses that, quote, "The primary responsibility of a driver is to operate a motor vehicle safely. Driving requires one's full attention and focus," unquote. There are 14,078 traffic crashes in Fairfax County in 2008 alone. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, driver distraction from all sources contributes to 25% of all police-reported crashes. In the past, without a specific law pertaining to text messaging behind the wheel, officers charged violators with failure to pay full time and attention, a problem that is clearly on the rise. In 2008, Fairfax County police officers charged 4,303 drivers, an increase from 3,317 arrests in 2007. Learn more about new Virginia laws and tips on avoiding distracted driving at fairfaxcounty.gov/police.
Some of today's cases remain unsolved, and detectives need your help bringing them to a successful conclusion. Something you may have seen or heard, however slight, might be the key to solving a crime. If you have information about any of today's unsolved crimes, please call Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS or police at 703-691-2131. And that's all for this edition of F.C.P.D. Newsline. I'm Master Police Officer Tim Thomas.
And I'm Officer Bud Walker. For the latest in crime information in Fairfax County and stories of interest from the law enforcement community, be sure to watch F.C.P.D. Newsline.
Good night.